All right. Welcome, Thrivers. We are so excited to be here with you guys on this post Halloween day. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a little sugar hungover as well as my kids. So I don't know how you're feeling, but hopefully you guys all had a very happy and safe Halloween yesterday. I know Mark and I were talking about our kids' costumes and kind of the fun and the joy that it is to see them doing that. So I hope you guys all had a really good one. So I just asked everyone in the group. Here we're going into our part 2 of Help My Spouse Want to Work on the Marriage. And you guys had a lot of great questions, as well as a lot of extreme challenges. I'm just gonna put it that way. But like I said in our live stream earlier, about the myths about abuse, but there are certain situations that cannot or should not be saved. But then there are challenging but solvable situations. And so what we want to work today, what Mark and I are here to do as international marriage experts, this is Mark Johnston, forgot to introduce you. Oh yeah, you're over there. Here we go. Is to help you with those challenging but solvable situations. And I just want to honor each of you, being willing to raise your hand and say, you know what, this is my problem. I want to get some help for it. I want to get some solutions. That really says a lot about you and your courage and your desire to have a good relationship and have a good life. So take a deep breath. There are solutions, and we're here to help guide you along the way. All right, now in part 1 that we did last week of this training, we went over these kind of situations. When your husband, your wife thinks that everything is their fault, or everything is your fault, right? They're not seeing the changes that you've made. They're not recognizing the positive changes that you've made. They're checked out. They don't want to work on their marriage with you. Maybe communication isn't very existent, or it's surface level. And so we talked about the first 2 elements here, that what we need to do is be restoring hope. Now, Mark, just give us a quick recap. What's the difference between hope versus wishing? What kind of hope are we talking about? Because this is foundational. We can't really go into the next 2 pieces unless we kind of bring this back home. So what is hope versus wishing?
Well, I think a lot of times what ends up happening in these sort of situations is, as you try to re-engage the spouse who might be leaving the marriage, they think of any chances at reconciling or fixing things is this wishful thinking. And wishful thinking, what that is, it's saying, okay, we'll fix things without any real acknowledgement of how you get there. It's the same sort of thing, as people look for that magic bullet, that one thing that's going to save their marriage, or that one piece of advice that's going to fix all their problems. The fact is, these sort of things don't exist. With complicated problems, there are solutions, but the solutions are also, they're involved and it takes work. Hope comes from actually identifying, we kind of went over a few of the things the other week. Hope comes from identifying some valued goals, figuring out some paths to get there, and then what we're going to talk about today, having some, agency or motivation to go down those paths, and then accounting for some of the obstacles. But all those things, it's work. And that's the difference between hope and wishful thinking.
Absolutely. It will require planning. It will require that work. And so I appreciate you sharing that. So we did talk about goals, having common goals, and how to frame those in a way that gets you and your spouse on the same team. We're going to go a little bit further into that as we go to step 3 here. And then our pathway thoughts, which I loved this, like that boulder is in your way, right? And we need to create all these different paths around it. Now, I know a lot of you commented even that was a big aha moment for you. So if it was, awesome. And if you've been able to have any more aha moments, or been able to see that there are different solutions, go ahead and put those in the comments. Let Mark and I know, because this is where the rubber meets the road, right? This is where we actually have to apply these things, and we'd love to hear from you and see how you were doing. I know that some of you have already had some big breakthroughs just from that one concept alone of these multiple pathways to get to that goal. All right, so we had a couple of things here. I'm going to go over a couple comments, and then we're going to go into step 3 and step 4. So Irene asked how to build hope and reconnecting when they think they aren't in love anymore, showing them it's possible to reconnect again and be more in love. Erin said, my husband told me he was checked out of our marriage, says he doesn't want to have to answer to anyone. Lately, I've been showing him how much I care for us, trying to remind him we have a future, but I feel I'm failing. He's so closed off. What else can I do to make him see that there is hope for us? So I love this right here, Erin, that you're talking about hope and hope for us, not wishful thinking, but hope, which is faith in action. We're going to take action to work towards these things. And then I'm going to touch on this last one real quick. Larry just posted, what's the best way to force them to want it? I hope you're joking, Larry, because surely that's not your intention, right? We can never force anyone to want anything. When I first put out the idea of what live stream to do and we were pulling it, I said, make your spouse want to work on you. And I quickly corrected that because it's help your spouse want to work on these things with you. There are things that we can do to cross that bridge. So with that being said, there are solutions to everything that you guys have just asked. And we're going to go into step number 3 of our 4-step help my spouse want to work on the marriage with me process. And now I lost my guide. But step 3 is our agency thoughts. Mark, what are agency thoughts?
Well, agency thoughts, it's really more about understanding motivation. So if we were applying this to ourselves, if we were trying to like gain more hope for our own goals, it would be about figuring out what is motivating us to take those goals. There's lots of different things that bring about change. What I consider, right here, one of the, how this relates here. One thing that brings about change is having certain events have a lot of meaning to you. So for instance, in the realm of, what we're talking about, if your spouse leaves or is talking about divorce, what kind of meaning does that take? And why is that give you more motivation now to work on things? So agency thoughts, it's, when I'm talking with my clients directly, one of the questions that I almost always ask is, why is this going to be different this time? So this is, it's a different thing, building up your own motivation and helping someone else to understand the motivation for the situation. As you're helping someone else, like your spouse, it's about that question there. Helping them to understand, why is this going to be different? Why are changes so important? And why are you going to be doing whatever it takes to make this work? Now, we have to incorporate some of the other principles here. So we have to be applying this motivation towards, the valued goal, the common goal that you have. You can't necessarily just jump right over to fixing the marriage in all situations. But with whatever goal that they're willing to move towards, and with whatever pathways that you're going to take, help them to understand why you would take those things. Heather and I, we really like principles, of what's called, the law of attraction, and a lot of what that has to do with, as you're talking about personal development and figuring out how to actually accomplish goals. Heather and I talk about a lot about, why are we trying to accomplish those goals? And that's the same principle right here. Because if your partner understands this time is going to be different because this is a really big thing in your life and you are not going to take, you're going to do whatever it takes, there's more hope there.
Absolutely. So I love this, and I'm pulling this as a direct quote from the training that Mark has put together that goes in depth on this entire process. Agency thoughts. This is the why behind what we are doing. So some really powerful questions to ask. Why would your spouse want to work on things? When you can answer that question and you can understand their why, that brings us right back to the first element of a restoration equation, which is understanding. That is a foundational piece. So when you know why they want to do something, that understanding can help you move toward that common goal. All right.
I'd like to point out, like we had a couple of the questions here, and then what I was actually noticing with each one of them, they didn't understand that why.
Yeah.
Like, how do you build hope and reconnecting when they aren't in love anymore? Well, what kind of goals do you have, and why don't they have that love anymore? understanding that is very, very important.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's getting to the root of what's really going on, understanding where they're coming from. This is one of the first things that Mark and I do when we're working with our clients one-on-one, is we find out what is actually needed. What are they looking for? What are they looking to gain, by leaving the relationship? And when you can figure out what that is, you can start to then meet those needs and provide that, which creates that connection and is the first step really in restoring all of that. Someone just said that they missed the first two. So the first two is in our part 1. And if you're on our YouTube channel, you can find it there. If you're on the Thriving Marriage group, you can go to the video section if you're on desktop, just as a quick note on where to find that. All right, so what are they looking for as they pull away from the marriage? What are you looking for? Why, what are you looking for? What is your goal? What do you hope to obtain? What are you seeking? Why do you think that's going to make you happy? In a very calm and centered place where you set your emotions aside, no manipulation, right? We're not doing the pushing method. We're drawing them to us with the pull method by seeking to have that understanding. And how might fixing these things between the two of you help with that goal? So how could you work together to have that end goal? So Mark, maybe we could break this down just a little bit. Let's take Aaron's question there. So my husband told me he was checked out of the marriage, says he doesn't want to have to answer to anyone. I've been showing how much I care for us, trying to remind him we have a future, but I feel like I'm failing. He's so closed off. What else can I do to help him see there is hope for us? So how could Aaron apply these agency thoughts in this situation?
Well, I think we even actually need to go back even before agency thoughts. Just off of that brief paragraph, I can tell that Aaron's husband is looking for some freedom himself. He's saying he doesn't want to have to answer to anyone. My guess here is, as he wanted to do some of the things that he wanted to do, he probably felt judged or some sort of negativity in the marriage. And so it wouldn't even be about focusing in on, fixing the marriage. It would be about, okay, how could we even get along together while not feeling that judgment, while you get to do some of the things that you really enjoy out of life. How we would then take specifically the agency thoughts, it would be about Erin helping to communicate why this is so important to her, that this sort of thing could be provided, and why she would want to work together with her husband to give him the sort of freedom, within the marriage. Without going into a lot of background information, it's hard to give anything more direct. But yeah, the agency thoughts is, why do we give him what he's looking for, and how is that going to work for you as well?
Yep, that's exactly it. And that goes right along with these comments we just got. Her goal is to work on herself, so she moved out. Why is she wanting to work on herself? How can we meet that goal, right? Going into the why of all of these things, and why are things going to be different now for you? All right, so hope that helps. We ready to move on to the next point, Mark? Any other final thoughts about that? Okay, cool. So then after we have gone through understanding why, our next step is barriers. Okay, and I really love this one because I feel like this is so effective in our mindset work, because we are out on a journey, right? That's so cliche, right? Life is a journey, but it really is. And we need to know where we're going. And anytime we're going somewhere, imagine that you're trying to get from, Denver, close to where I live, to New York, or up where Mark lives, right? That's quite the expanse of land and climates and everything. And if you're going to be planning that trip, you're going to need to prepare in advance. You're going to need to know when you're going to have to stop for gas and for food and for potty breaks. If you're like me and you have 7 noisy kids in the car and you need a sanity break, right? All these different things. You're going to check the weather, especially here as we're getting into winter season. I mean, we just had 4 inches of snow here in Colorado. Crazy. So, as we're planning our trip, we prepare for barriers on any kind of physical trip. Somehow in life, we haven't been taught how to prepare for challenges. We haven't been taught to expect challenges, and we haven't been taught to embrace challenges. If anything, we've been taught to become victims to challenge. that all of a sudden things are going great and boom, it messed up and now we're a mess, right? And we're such a victim to life. Challenges are part of life, right? If you don't know that, welcome to Life 101. I'm going to teach you. I'm just kidding. But this is a beautiful concept. So Mark, take it away. What are these barriers that we're talking about, and how are they so crucial in this whole idea of restoring hope with our spouse?
Well, I think this one connects a lot to our second point and having pathways to our goal. The big thing here, though, is sometimes people see these big obstacles to reconciling, to being happy together in a marriage, and they just see no way around it. The barrier itself has to be addressed. Some of the challenges coming back together have to be addressed. Common ones that I hear is, well, what if we don't love each other? Or what if I don't love you anymore? And we can already see it with a statement like that, how just, well, with a question like that, how that would really detract from the hope that things could be better. But, in a similar sense, I want to kind of compare and contrast why I have these as separate things, why there's pathways and why there's obstacles. For instance, if we have a goal of being happy together, we want lots of ways to get there and lots of choices to make, lots of things that we can do to get there. But there's still going to be problems, and those it's great to having lots of choices, but if you don't address the problems or the barriers, there's not going to be any hope. As an example, well, actually, even before I get into examples, when I'm looking at barriers, I'm actually, personally, I'm looking at it in one of two different ways. Do we need a path around it, or do we need to find a way to push through this obstacle? As an example, if things are really tense between you and your spouse, you can either talk about, okay, how can we do things differently? How can we create a new path to deal with this tension? Or what do we do, while things are tense to make it easier? The distinction isn't really that important, but it's just to kind of open up some new ideas. Is it simply a matter of enduring this obstacle, or do you need to create new pathways? For instance, Heather, you have 7 kids. I have 5 kids, and sometimes having a lot of kids has an effect on relationships, right? So
Never. That's not a thing.
No, of course not. It's a little bit harder to get out on dates and such. We make do, and we try as hard as we can, but sometimes having kids makes it more difficult. Now, we could simply say, well, the kids are young, and why don't we just ride this out, finding a way to endure that or push through that obstacle? Or do we need to come up with more solutions? And either option is valid as long as the both of you can actually agree on that solution. So for me and my wife, we kind of have a little bit of both. We say, okay, well, the kids are young. We might not have as many dates as we would like, but we also want to make sure that this is going to happen. So we make plans to have time together, even though it's difficult. And so we have extra pathways around that obstacle. And so that's really what barriers are about, is actually taking a problem like that and examining it, seeing what are we going to do with this thing? What is our plan here? How can we get to our goal, even though this is sitting here right in the way? And you can take this with, just about any problem. I know Irene was talking about how, what if there isn't love anymore? Okay, well, do you actually, do you want there to be love in their relationship? If so, you have a common goal there, and you can start planning from there. What would we do to build up love? What would we do to, do we need to talk to a counselor? Do we need to do more activities together? What actually contributes to love in our relationship? So on and so forth. And you can come up with a plan.
Absolutely. Yep, that's it. So yeah, really a lot of great questions here. We've got someone who wants to know if it's possible to restore the marriage if she's checked out and has an addiction. Right here, right? You've got someone checked out and addiction. We've got some major barriers. So what you want to do is exactly what Mark's taught here. Create those common goals, find out why, what's driving the behavior, what's driving the being checked out, what's driving the affair. I just saw someone put that in there. That's absolutely a barrier, but you've got to find those common goals and then those pathways around those barriers. So let's go over here real quick. I do want to share Mark's question, Mark Boyette. So I'm going to, okay. I think we've already answered number 2. How do I help build her hope up and get to the common goals to do so? By asking those why questions, right? Having that understanding, finding that common ground. How do I get her to open up more? Now, this is a big one, right, Mark? When a spouse is checked out, communication starts to deteriorate. And that, Mark kind of talks about like an arc in a relationship, and we look for different markers for how severe it is and kind of the lifeline of the relationship. And so increasing that communication and utilizing that communication to help her open up is going to be crucial. I don't think we're going to go into depth about that. We have other trainings on that issue specifically, but it's you recognizing, okay, this is a barrier. We don't have the kind of communication that I would like. What are the different pathways? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? What skills do I need to develop? Who can I go to as a resource for this, right? And then just to kind of bring us all home, I want to illustrate with a couple of real stories of people that have been in similar shoes to you guys and show you that this is possible, right? Because Mark and I could talk about this, but where's the proof, right? Like this is a proven system. So Jason is a client that we worked with for now, and his spouse was completely wanting a divorce. She was 100% set on divorce. And now they're talking about things in the future. He says, I took the program, hook, line, and sinker, Heather, Mark are truly amazing people. Look, that's all great. However, what's really important to understand here is that there were some major barriers, right? Spouse was checked out. She didn't want to work on the marriage. And what he did was these 4 exact things here: finding the goals, the pathways, the agency thoughts, and the barriers. And doing that system in depth, step by step, and being consistent with it is what got him there. Now, Tina, one of her barriers was her own mindset. She wasn't sure if it was possible that she could do this on her own, right? She said she really wanted her husband to work on it with her, but he was only hanging on just for the kids. So he was in it just to hang on for the kids. I wanted to give my marriage the best chance possible. So what she did was she used these pathways. She recognized the barriers. I learned how to meet his needs, and it's been so amazing. So right there, I learned how to meet his needs. Mark, that goes right back to the why, right? Mm-hmm. And showing that understanding. He's loving to me now. And for anyone else out there wondering, I know it is possible to save your marriage on your own, and it is worth it. So I just love that. That is so beautiful. And we would love to help you. I know that this is kind of a high level overview of what needs to happen. And if you didn't get our guide last week, I would encourage you to do that. It's our free guide. And I usually have my phone to show you, but I gave it to my toddler. So she's playing a game on it right now. But we have this guide of help my spouse want to work on the marriage and breaking down these 4 crucial elements so that you can apply them step by step. So if you want that guide, I will put the link there. We got it out to a lot of you guys last time, and I hope that you're enjoying that and getting some breakthroughs from that. I know a lot of you already have, as you posted in the group earlier. So we will send that out there to you so you can have the full guide, the full experience there. And then we also, if you would like more help in applying this specifically to your relationship, whether that barrier is the affair or an addiction, lack of communication, they don't love you anymore, any of those major obstacles, and you want help knowing how to do that, then reach out to Mark and I, and we can talk to you about that in detail. We also offer a free breakthrough call for anyone who is interested in working with Mark and I one-on-one in our coaching program. We only have a few spots open right now, but if you feel like that's something you could really benefit from, then I invite you to reach out to us and let us know. And finally, we are offering this complete training, which is how to restore hope in your marriage, so that your spouse will want to work on it with you. I said this last time, but it's so important. I'm going to say it again. We talk about save your marriage on your own. Tina talked about she wasn't sure if she could do it. Now she knows that she can because she learned how to do these things. Your marriage on your own is the first step. You have to be willing to go first when your spouse is checked out. But that doesn't mean you're going to be the only one working on it forever. That's not our end goal, right, Mark? That's just the beginning. So what we want to do is give you this training to show you how to put it all together. and have your spouse really want to work on this with you. Just imagine what that would feel like for a minute. Imagine your spouse coming home, wanting to work on things with you, wanting to communicate with you, wanting to reach those goals that you both have and have that healthy and happy marriage that you're truly, truly craving. Just imagine how good that would feel. So we're offering that. It's a $97 value, completely free for anyone who joins our relationship reboot course. In addition, we have something else special just to launch off this, the start of the month here in November. The first 20 people that join Relationship Reboot, and this is only available for people on this video training. We're not sending it out to our massive email list of 38,000 people. It's only for you guys, but the first 20 people that join will also get half off our Relationship Reboot course if you haven't already joined. If you are a member, go over to the members area. I've got something cool for you, so go check it out over there. So that is our message to you today. I hope that you've had some ahas. I would encourage you to go back and listen to this again. And what are your ahas? What moments stuck out to you? What was something that Mark or I said, or just a thought that came to you that really struck home? And you're like, that's it. That's what I need to do. Write that down. Put it in the comments. Like, take it out of your brain and put it into physical form, because that's going to help solidify it and make it concrete for you. And it will tell your mind, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to focus on. Don't let it slip away, because that is what your inner spirit, your inner soul, your inner being is calling you to do. And as you take action on that, you will get incredible momentum in your marriage. So if you want the half off sale, I forgot to say, if you want the half off sale of the reboot, you want to be one of those first 20 people that get it. Only doing it right here and right now. Literally, once 20 people are in, I'm going to be watching on my end, because I get to see everything on the back end. Once I see 20 people in, I'm going to cut it off and get the $97 training that just put reboot in the comments. I know that you'll be one of the ones that are serious about taking action and applying these things into your relationship. Well, we appreciate you. Mark, any final thoughts?
No, I think we've covered everything here.
Awesome. Yep. Again, we honor you for wanting to work on these things. They are challenging, but they are solvable. They absolutely are. And we get to witness it every single day. I truly believe the heavens rejoice when a marriage is saved. So we appreciate you, and we honor you and respect you on your journey. And thank you, Mark, for your incredible wisdom and insights as always.
All right. See you, everyone.
We'll see you.